apparently Luis J. Gomez and Opie had a tiff yesterday. Our buddy Unique. He's
a scholar.
A scholar of internet wars. Is calling this one a war. I have to tell you, I don't believe that this is a war kind of a thing. I don't think Luis and Opie bitched at each other on Twitter yesterday. And I believe that's the extent of it. But that doesn't make it not entertaining. Now, I need the Unique video on this because I can't see what Opie wrote to Luis because Opie has blocked me. Now, Opie is within his rights to block me. I was shitting on him. You said
the man had a family.
I've said very mean things about him after he withdrew from our interview because I criticized him one time, the fucking goof. And I've shit on him in the past. I think he's funny to make fun of. And he blocked me, which is, again, totally fair. I don't think he's gay for doing that. It's if you want to block someone, you can block someone. But now I can't see his tweets. So I only saw one side of this Luis J. Gomez Opie thing. I'm excited to see how the whole thing went. Let's check it out. Our buddy Unique.
Luis J. Gomez and Opie are currently going to war with each other on Twitter or X. Ugh. I hate the fact that it's now called that. But
hey, commentary from Unique.
Twitter. So, some guy replied to Luis J. Gomez, yeesh, Opie Hughes vibes, because apparently Luis has stopped saying a word or something or whatever. Who cares? Yeah. And then Luis J. Gomez says, yeesh, an Opie reference. Tell me you're 50 without telling me you're 50.
I mean, that's one thing O&A fans on the internet need to become a little self-aware of.
Sure. You're getting older.
We're not young. You got to remember, that show's been off the air for 10 years. You could argue it hasn't been great for 25 years. Or, I'm sorry, 15 years, not 25. I'm sorry. It's been off the air for a decade. It hasn't been great in about 15 years. And you guys reference it like it was yesterday. You're like, oh, man, you know what O&A would say about this? Nothing. They hate each other. They wouldn't say anything about this.
No.
Now, this is not a shot at Opie, but Opie's going to take it as one, and Luis is going to respond.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that Greg Opie Hughes saw something on the internet that mentioned his name, took it as a shot, and then attacked? That doesn't sound like the Opie I know or that I've communicated with.
Yeah, because the Opie I know takes almost everything as an insult and must go to war over it.
The Opie that I know that I've talked to did the same thing to me that he's doing to Luis J. Gomez. He's responding to something that wasn't a shot as though you just shit upon him directly.
I believe Luis is probably blocked today.
Probably blocked.
So that's all Luis said. But then Opie had to chime in. Yo, Luis J. Gomez, you piece of shit. Stop playing tough guy.
That's aggressive.
All he said was an Opie reference. Tell me you're 50 without telling me you're 50. Opester, you're in your 60s. Your fans, if they've been listening to you since 98, are in their 40s and 50s. I'm one of your youngest fans at 36. Yeah, that's the thing with time, is it keeps going forward. Tracy Lawrence once said, I believe, time marches on. And you get older, it's not an insult to say an Opie reference, tell me you're 50 without telling me you're 50.
Dude, something that discredits Opie for me right out the gate, look at his Twitter handle. He can't even... the P Radio. In podcast is supposed to be...
That's what's bothering you. That's what's bothering.
It's supposed to be Opie Radio Podcast with a capital P.
Boy.
That's the title of your show.
Are you going to make it?
No, but it did discredit him for me.
Oh, okay. So you're like Stannis Baratheon. You need proper punctuation.
I sure shit do.
Okay.
If you're going to be out here calling out people for being pieces of shit and for being a tough guy, you can at least get your name right.
April stands on a boat when she's about to go to war and she goes, Fewa. It's Fewa. So he's pissed that Luis J. Gomez made that reference. I mean, coming out of the gate hot with you piece of shit, stop playing tough guy. First of all, I watched Lewis's boxing match against Tim Butterly. Lewis is a tough guy.
Just look at how aggressive that whole tweet is.
Oh, Luis J. Gomez, You piece of shit. Stop playing tough guy. I have no issue with you, and you know it. Take this garbage somewhere else. Go use someone else as your punching bag.
But he didn't do anything.
You know what this is? It's hurt people hurting people.
Yeah.
Like, Opie is feeling so downtrodden and rejected and insulted by society at this point. He's like, I can't even have somebody mention my name without pretending that person's trying to attack me.
Well, and here's what Luis J. Gomez does, and you'll see it in this.
Mm-hmm.
Luis is one of those guys who's like, I wasn't shitting on you, but I'm not going to back down now. Now I'll shit on you for being a dick.
He threw like 4 shots at Luis in here. It's time to be a dick.
Every time you saw me, you showed me nothing but respect and have invited me on your show numerous times. F off.
Said fuck off. And all he said was yeesh and Opie reference, tell me you're 50 without telling me you're 50. He was shitting on the guy who tweeted that, not
right.
You.
Where the proper, so instead of you pretending that you've been insulted, you should have just chuckled and been like, oh, haha, get it? Because we are getting older.
Yeah.
You know?
And then Luis responded.
First of all, this is the best thing about internet beef, is that it sounds so juvenile and stupid and retarded when you do what Kyle's doing right now. And then Luis said on Twitter, and then Opie said on Twitter, and then you know what the other guy said on Twitter?
Aaron, this is what men call war.
Yeah, this is war.
LOL, Opie, you really are the thin-skinned pussy they always said you were, huh?
I mean, it's hard to read the tweet Opie just sent and not kind of read thin-skinned pussy into it.
I'd agree.
Then Opie responds,
No way.
Not a fan of phonies that play it one way when they see me and talk behind my back.
But he didn't say anything.
No, Aaron, you missed it. He insulted him.
But he didn't talk behind his back. He made fun of a guy on Twitter.
P.S. Your special was really bad. Lazy comedy relying on really dirty material. Go back to your circus tent.
See, now,
was that a Puerto Rican joke? Do
Maybe.
Puerto Ricans live in circus tents? That was racist. That's disgusting.
They try to call them yurts now.
Oh, okay.
Nah, I mean,
your special was really bad. It used a lot of dirty language. I didn't like that Luis was using bad words.
What a curmudgeon.
And how about a guy who did the Opie and Anthony show telling someone else that their special was too dirty?
Okay, so like I said, this is ongoing, just happened. Go on Twitter to see if
there's way more than this
are made. And if they are, I'll make another video about it. But
no.
Opie.
No, fuck you, Unique. You missed a lot on this one. Hold on a minute. How long ago was this uploaded? 15 hours ago? Oh, yeah, you missed a bunch, my man.
How do you keep fighting like little schoolgirls like this?
Well, for Luis, I think it's fun. You're just kind of
Luis follows
shitting
you
on the guy.
You piece of shit.
I'm sorry.
I follow him. I don't think he follows me.
I apologize. So Opie did the, you really are the thin-skinned pussy they always said you were. So then Opie said that his special wasn't funny. And Luis says, Opie, you created something that people cared about 25 years ago and have not created a single thing that anyone has enjoyed since. People use the name Opie as an insult. Think about that. You're irrelevant trash. Thanks for watching my special. I, like most others, have not watched anything you've done in a very long time. And then I think the last one was phony. Opie, look at how everyone talks about you. All the people that used to have relationships with you. Anthony, Jim, Sam, everyone says you're a thin-skinned cunt. People that know you very personally all hate you now, personally and professionally. You are a loser. And then his last one was, also, if you liked my special, I'd delete it from the internet, you unfunny hack.
Well, yeah, and if you considered this, none of these shots would have came at Opie from Luis if Opie had just shut the fuck up.
Again, nobody said anything about you.
Right, but this is what happens when you're bitter and you're hurt and unloved by society, and you can't see your name without assuming that somebody has shat upon you.
I suppose. It's $35 away. I'm going to nudge you about that during overtime here. Let's knock that out. It's a short week. Let's hit that short week. $35. This is going to be the toughest one is tonight. Tonight's going to be the toughest one. That's for sure. All right. So while you guys are each throwing in $5-10 and knocking that out, Opie, where do we start with this? So last night, Opie and Louis J. Gomez got into a bit of a Twitter spat.
A tiff.
And the entire Twitter spat was so stupid because Louis J. Gomez never insulted Opie.
Not even once.
Somebody referenced Opie in a response to Louis J. Gomez's tweet. And Louis retweeted it and said, an Opie reference? Tell me you're 50 without telling me you're 50. Which means, dude, that was a lame-ass joke. Opie and Anthony was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's
that,
fair.
You know, what are you, fucking old?
But somebody had to read into it.
Well, Opie read into it that Louis J. Gomez was shitting on Opie, which he wasn't, which caused Opie to attack Louis's special, shit on him as a podcaster. And then Louis goes, dude, fuck you. I didn't even say shit about you. Second of all, you're a nobody. Everybody who knew you hates your guts now. You've been isolated from anyone who was ever any good on your show. You haven't done anything since. You have nothing going for you, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. And just started listing all of these things. And I thought that was the end of it because we covered it this morning, had some fun with it, talked about it, whatever. Opie felt compelled to make a nearly 8-minute video today.
Oh,
talking
no.
about Louis J. Gomez, the real ass dude, the Puerto Rican rattlesnake, Louis J. Gomez, a boxer, Louis J. Gomez, and father of Tim Butterly, Louis J. Gomez, adopted father of Tim Butterly. So Opie decided to explain himself. Now, I think the adult thing to do here would have been, hey, Louis and I just had a little misunderstanding. It's gay for men to fight on Twitter. Like, it's probably about the gay. Like, no woman has ever been, I want to suck your dick so bad. I saw how you flamed that guy on Twitter. That's really hot.
You got to say, I definitely read into that. It was not a big deal.
Yeah. So let's see if Opie takes that tact or if Opie decides to double down. Anybody want to place bets? Where do you think this is going?
We're doubling down.
We're doubling down?
Yeah.
All right, Opie, go ahead. I feel sympathy for Louis because my interaction with Opie was much the same. I reached out to interview him. He said yes. I remember I was on the golf course when I got a DM from him rescinding his acceptance to my offer because he went through a show from like a year ago and found that I had said, hey, Opie wasn't the funny guy in Opie and Anthony, but he has a really good family and he's well adjusted outside the show, blah, 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 blah. He said, well, you said I wasn't very funny, but at least I have a good family. I'm like, what's more important? Like, my whole point was you have the good things in life.
Right. You're not lacking.
Right. Who cares if you're not as funny as your co-host? You got a good life. That was the whole point of it. So Opie kind of has this history of taking things that are not slights and making them slights. Kind of like I did with Peter Sky Parker.
It is easy to slip into that world if you don't have like self-awareness, whereas you have self-awareness and you pulled yourself out of that
as soon as Sid says, no, that guy's good, you're just reading too much into it. I'm like, oh, Peter's a fan then.
No, Opie really does seem like he's on guard almost. Like anytime his name gets mentioned, he just assumes that it's going to be negative.
Right. Like, and I don't understand. Like Opie, like everybody in the podcast sphere are a bunch of nobodies. Opie actually has been to the top of the mountain. He's been the man in broadcasting. Mm-hmm. So you would think he wouldn't give a shit what all these people think.
Right.
I mean, Jesus, I'm a nobody who had a number one radio show in a market number 180 or whatever. And I backhand trolls and smack them around and have fun with them and laugh at their expense. And they get all mad at me and I get them all riled up and then send them back into whatever universe they came from. And that's a nobody like me who's able to take them out no problem. You'd think Opie would be able to not even be able to be bothered with it.
Yeah, you should be above that at some point.
Well, let's watch Opie try to be above it.
Hey, look, you can say whatever you want about me and whatever.
I mean, history has shown that's not the case. You can't really say whatever you want about you. You get very upset.
I could say something as menial as I really hate his hat today. And that's
you think my hat's stupid?
It's going to.
Do you know where this hat came from? This hat was a gift. From a friend, a really good friend. Oh, so you don't think I have friends because of my hat? This hat was from a friend, and we have coffee together. That was actually almost too masculine a voice for Opie.
Yeah, that was too gravelly.
But I
Oh no, go ahead.
hate phonies.
Oh, look at hey, Opie doing some production. Oh, he's got a picture of Louis J. Gomez up there.
Oh man.
Turned his edges all shitty, like he was using the selector tool.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the selector tool.
Oh, he's using
Oh,
the crop
buddy, no.
the crop lasso.
Bud.
hate people that BS to your face and then do something different behind the scenes.
But
He didn't, though.
do anything to you behind the
He
scenes.
will
though.
now. Like, isn't that the funny part? Like, he will now. He's not going to respect you at this point.
Ope, all he said was your fans are old. I got news for you, Ope. You're old. You're in your 60s.
Anthony would have chuckled at that.
Right.
That Luis Gomez roasted you like coffee beans, brah. What did Luis Gomez say? Because I don't.
What do
play
you
the-
mean, what did he say? You were responding to it all night on Twitter, you phony bag of shit.
He strikes me as the male version of shrill.
He is very shrill. I can't believe he never caught on in broadcasting after Opie and Anthony with that cool way he talks.
Coffee. Ugh.
Oh, did he like coffee beans, brah? Can't believe that didn't catch on in on an oldie station.
The back and forth. Luis Gomez took some cheap shot at me, and I hit him with a sledgehammer, and then I turned off my Twitter, and I enjoyed the rest of my day. How did he get me, brah?
Oh my God.
Doesn't seem to be bothering you at all.
Not at all. I'm sure you sleep well at night.
You know, Opie, I was wrong. You took that in stride. You nailed him. Took a sledgehammer. Would you stop? The most I'll use the term backhand because that's all it is. You don't take a sledgehammer to people on Twitter. It's a fucking tweet. You can ignore it if you want to.
Oh,
I always use the word backhand on purpose because it's a sissy thing to do on a sissy platform full of sissy people.
pimp hand strong.
Right, nobody on Twitter has got a fucking sledgehammer or Thor's hammer or anything like that. Relax.
You're not taking a flamethrower.
You're
to
not
the
taking
troll.
a flamethrower to Louis J. Gomez. He didn't take a machine gun to you and perforate you.
How about a Gatling gun?
No, nobody has Gatling guns on Twitter.
Damn it.
You guys had a slap fight because it's a bitch thing to do.
I hate two-faced people. I hate phonies. You know, Luis Gomez is he's like an average, for the people that don't know, he's like an average comedian. He's not even close to as good as the rest of the New York comics, but the New York comics seem to like him. He's a very good promoter. He does a very good job with Skankfest, but he's not really a great stand-up. And he honestly wasn't good enough to be on the Opie and Anthony show back in the day. And
I mean, in fairness, Louis was probably in his mid to late 20s when Opie and Anthony was on?
But just all
Did I
these...
say Opie and Anthony?
Probably.
I'm
I've
a
done that
dipshit.
before too. But just the insults out of nowhere for no good reason. Like I said, this man is on guard at all times. Everything is an insult to him. Everything feels like rejection because he didn't do anything after Opie and Anthony.
Well, and then he says, oh, Louis J. Gomez, yeah, he does a great job with Skankfest every year, but he's an average comedian. Dude, average comedians don't have enough fans where they can put on an event like Skankfest.
No.
I mean, if you sell tickets, you're not an average comedian. The marketplace speaks, Ope. Don't let your bitterness make you a liar. I mean, Louis is an average comedian, but every comic in New York respects him. Well, they don't respect average comedians.
And I bet Opie would have never said this before he just merely saw his name mentioned.
Yeah. And guess what, Ope? If you and Anthony would have made it a few years longer, Louis J. Gomez and Big J. Okerson and Dave Smith, they probably would have been on Opie and Anthony.
Yeah.
He probably would have made it on your show.
certainly tried, but he just wasn't good enough. And then over the years, he takes little cheap shots at me. When I got let go at SiriusXM, he was pretty happy about it. For what reason, I don't know, because I was always very, very nice to him.
Because he worked. No, here's what happened. I remember because that was the early Compound Media days. He was on Compound Media on Legion of Skanks. He was on Anthony's platform. They all fucked with you.
Yeah.
They all busted your balls because you always shit on those guys.
That's true, and you were potential competition, right?
Opie's ability to talk a whole bunch of shit and then play victim is unmatched in broadcasting. Opie has a great way of taking shots at people, shitting on people, being angry at people. And then when they go, haha, you lost your gig, he's like, I didn't even do anything to them. And now they're attacking me?
Dog.
God.
You know, he probably held a grudge because he was never on the Opie and Anthony show.
That's what it is.
He just never made the cut. He wasn't good enough.
That's true.
And then he joined Anthony's network and, you know, quickly started trashing me because everybody that works for Anthony has to trash me.
It's funny. They were making fun of you because you and Anthony hated each other. You know what, Opie, for someone who hosted a radio show that always talked about how honest it was, you two really were kind of dishonest about how much you hated each other. And I get it. It was for the survival of his show. I get that.
Yeah.
But Opie clearly said he couldn't stand you. And then the people on his network made fun of you. And guess what? You said shit about them too, so relax.
He's just the most insecure man.
So then one day I went over to Gas Digital. Carl Ruiz went with me. And I asked Lewis right to his face, what's up, bro? I never did anything bad to you. I never talked bad about you. Why do you feel like you have to talk bad about me? And he's like, oh, man, you know, that's what's encouraged when you work for Anthony, and I don't mean anything by it, man. I think you're great, or whatever the exact words.
I'm going to go ahead and call bullshit on that and say those words were never spoken.
No.
Never.
I'd agree with you.
I don't think Lewis said, oh, yeah. I don't think Lewis threw Anthony under the bus. And I also don't think Anthony goes, are you going to do a show on my network? Well, you know you have to shit on Opie, right? I can say as someone who's had a show on Compound Media and as someone who's filled in for Anthony as short as 2 weeks ago, I can tell you this. Nobody contacts you and says, hey, make sure you shit on Opie.
Right? That's not contractual.
They don't care about you, Ope. They really don't.
No, that's the thing. And they don't feel the need to mention you until you come up and do something stupid like
right.
this.
They'll tease you because it's funny content and they have to fill time. I mean, and you fill time very well. But it's not like, oh, we have to shit on Opie. Let's get him.
Where he showed me nothing but respect, and he was very, very nice to me. And then he gave me a tour of Gas Digital, and it was fine. I thought the guy was all right.
It was still fine until you, like a little pussy, took a nothing shot. It wasn't even a shot at you. He wasn't even insulting you. You took it like he just, molested your kids, and you started firing away at him like a lunatic.
Everything was great until yesterday, and now all he's done is ensure that Lewis will never give him respect ever again.
Well, and not only that, again, he created the stupid drama. Again, you're grown men. This is embarrassing. You created the drama and now play victim. You're an expert at it.
Thought the guy was all right. I know he works really, really hard. And then I'm not sure if the other time was before or after this, but I'm on the streets of New York with my daughter strapped to my chest.
That's what it's called.
And
there
Lewis
you go.
comes up to me in the street, and he couldn't be nicer to me. Like, really, really nice.
Yeah, he wasn't mean to you this time either.
Oh.
And I got right in his fucking face with my daughter on my chest. I said, what's up, bro? What's up?
You're 60, for Christ's sake.
What is going on with this
You're
man?
60 years old, and with your daughter strapped to your chest, you went up to another guy because you guys don't like each other's podcasts, and you went, what's up, bro?
Are you telling me this guy has kids that little?
Oh, yeah, he's a couple kids. Yeah, he had them
That
very old.
little?
He had kids very old. Yeah. Not like Al Pacino old, but yeah, older.
Oh my God.
40s, 50s.
And I go, you're being all nice to me in person, but you talk crap.
He jokes about you.
Behind my back, behind my back.
Okay.
Man, and once again, man, it's all just, man, I respect you, man. I'm a fan, man. I'm this man.
Because he's joking around.
Yeah, it's almost like we do shows out here. Like, if everyone took everything all show hosts say is gospel, like, I don't know how any of us would function in real life.
Right. It's just, Opie, you got to let some shit go, man. There's a reason they call it a show. He's doing
A show.
And of course, like the Opie jabs are like little nothing things that like friends would make about you. I'm guessing Opie doesn't have a lot of friends that bust his balls. I'm guessing Opie doesn't have a lot of friends that tell jokes at his expense. Because then he'd, he'd wake one of his kids up from a nap and hold him up to the guy and go, "You got a problem, bro?
I got kids, man.
Look at my daughter's face and tell me you don't have a problem, bro."
What a weird thing.
What an uncomfortable moment for the kid. He's got to be strapped to this crazy dipshit's chest while he goes and yells at a guy on the streets of New York.
Literally can feel his heart pounding out of anger.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh, no. Like, even at an early age, the daughter was like, had one of those moments where she's like, shit, is my dad a retard? Fuck. They told me this might happen.
And then he gave me
Anthony called me and he said, your dad might be a stupid asshole.
Anthony and the gang of Compound Media.
And the
That's
gang.
All, it's in their contracts to shit upon Daddy Opie.
Actually, Anthony didn't even call the baby. He made Big J. Okerson do it.
Yeah.
Because it was in the contract.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
something called Real Ass Dude of the Week, which is a little but he gave me real.
You should definitely say it like that again. It'll probably be really funny.
Yeah. Isn't this guy rich and his audio and his lighting fucking
Well,
suck?
that's a strategy Opie uses, because then when he sucks and nobody watches his shit, he just goes, "Oh, well, I'm not trying." That's what people who don't.
What?
Yeah, that's what people who don't get traction do. And look, I mean,
I'd be
like
so
I said,
upset.
like I said, we're nobodies, but
Yeah.
Opie's worse than we are at this point. And we're still going to try. And then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But to be such a coward that you won't try because you have to have a crash pad in case it sucks and nobody likes it, that's a chicken shit move.
Real Ass Dude of the Week, because I didn't back down when I saw him on the street, even though my daughter was strapped to my chest. And then everything seemed to be all right. And then he took some dumb cheap shot at me last night. And I basically said,
he didn't take a cheap shot at you. He said an Opie reference. Tell me you're 50 without telling me you're 50. He was shitting on the person who made the Opie reference. He was saying that making fun of you in that way is lame and hacky.
It is.
In a way, it was kind of I'd say it was a neutral statement about you.
Indifferent.
But if anything, it was a positive, saying don't make Opie jokes. It's fucking gay and retarded. Let the show go.
I'm not a fan of phonies.
Oh, yeah?
I'm not a fan of two-faced phonies.
You must hate the mirror. Ha, ha. See what I did? See what I did, April? You must hate the mirror because he looks in a mirror and he sees
I got it. No.
phony.
Oh, I get it. He's one.
Yeah.
And he saw himself in the mirror.
Rubber and glue and all that.
Sure.
Yeah.
That say one thing to your face and say all sorts of crap behind your back.
What is this, high school? You're 60.
And I told him his
Worse.
comedy special was not good at all, and it wasn't that good, and everyone knows it wasn't that good. But they respect Lewis as a promoter, so they try to help him promote the damn thing. But it's honestly his special was lazy. What I mean by that is
Okay,
It's about to be filled with you next. So.
I don't think he'd waste it. I don't think he'd waste the time.
It's a funny.
I'll tell you this. I think I can't watch any more Opie. It's just.
He's awful. He strikes me as somebody who would be like our parents' age that's just uptight about everything, and you're afraid to talk to him about anything
Right.
because they might blow up at you.
Well, like I said, my experience was I said that Opie wasn't that good. Or no, I didn't even say he wasn't that good.
Man.
I said he wasn't the funny guy.
Yeah.
And as the straight man or whatever, but he has a family and he seems to be doing very well. He took that as a slight.
That's what I mean. You can't even be passe. You can't even be like, hey, dude, you're doing fine.
Yeah.
Have that lukewarm of a take and oh my God, what did I ever do to you?
Yeah. Nicholas Gurr says he also believes that you are the one that sent me to his chat so that he could repeat my name several times. I had nothing to do with that monster. I'm telling you right now.
I think that's funny, though.
Kyle with $5 says having to pay for the leaf blower you sold me through Super Chats is really inconvenient, Aaron. I didn't do that. Balls Deep gifting a membership. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Seraph says, but Lewis trashed him. Oh, I forgot.
How he talks really is shrill for a guy
shrill.
voice.
Rare Penny with $5 says, I was raised Lutheran as well, April, and 100% Norwegian. Go white people. Well, that
Hey,
Jesus.
as a fellow Aryan here, I don't know what to do with that. Thank you.
All right, guys. It does look like we're still $25 short for this overtime we're giving you. We got 8 minutes left. We got in. Let's knock out that last 25. What do you say? It's not going to make a big difference in the grand scheme of things. My autism is just showing.
It'd make me feel good.
I'm going, just fucking 25 is a weird number. Just get it the fuck out of there. Everybody throw in a couple of bucks. Knock out that last 25. Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo. Those are the 3 best ways to do it. Rumble rants, super chats, etc. Get after it, guys. Let's do that last 25 and call it a win tonight. Mr. Me says, after watching that, my life's looking pretty good now. Thanks, Opie.
Opie, yeah. No, it is true. Like, you watch somebody just be shitty for no reason.
And not only that,
And
but
it's
like
just grating.
a guy who's got on paper, good life.
Fantastic. Isn't he rich? Doesn't he have all the money he needs and a beautiful view?
Got all the money.
A family.
All the stuff.
His coffee.
Carlos Cameo says, how Anthony tolerated Opie for almost 20 years is beyond me. I'd last 20 minutes. Oh, okay, wait a minute. They're paying you millions of dollars a year.
There was a buffer there.
How about that? They're paying you millions of dollars a year, and you got to deal with the guy 4 or 5 hours tops.
Per day.
4 or 5 hours a day, millions of dollars. And yeah, Jake in the Hudson says, Carlos, alcohol. Yeah, Anthony could put away a few beers too.
What? I've never heard such a thing.
1 or 2.